Welcome to another episode of the radio show uh, with Peaches, Poohab, and in for DJ Mark X because he decided to go mess with this girl.
Oh my goodness, it's always a girl.
Yeah. We brought in Katrina Speller
Hello.
to sit in, and hopefully she does a good job. But if she doesn't, she'll be fired by the end of it. I guess. All right, so.
You know I didn't laugh. Right?
I know, but that's what makes it even more funnier. All right, so we're talking off the air. Well, first of all, we're in a holiday setting because of the fact that the holidays are coming around, and a lot of people used to say that I was rude, and I wasn't festive or anything like that. I'm trying to be festive, so we got a little Christmas tree behind us. Got my cocoa right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be festive right now. So we're gonna have some fun right now. Mark and I were speaking about Punisher on Netflix and how it was a great show. It just blew out any Marvel show out. But we're gonna save that for another time. But it made us ask questions. The biggest argument in my household is I hate Superman. And on one of the past podcasts or one of the past episodes, me and Mark thought about that, about why I didn't like Superman. So now we're going to broaden the spectrum and not only speak about Superman, but Batman. And we're not going to use hero versus villain. It's more of a hero versus victim. It would be more about the inner workings. And you know what? We're basing it off of The Secret Behind Comics, where they talked about Jack Kirby and Stan Lee with Marvel, the creators of Superman. What made them create these characters? So everybody hates me because I hate Superman, and it's not the American thing to do not to like Superman. And I have a valid reason why I don't like Superman.
You think you have a valid reason why you don't like Superman.
Right, but I think he's pompous. I think he's self-gratifying. Like he needs a pat on his back every single time he does something. I don't think he's smart from a planet that he came from, of geniuses, and he comes down here and he's like one of the stupidest people. Like, I'm just saying, he accidentally made the Fortress of Solitude, by the way. He just threw, well, if you go by the Christopher Reeve.
Accident. I think
if you go by the Christopher Reeve, if you go by that, he threw that crystal by accident and created the Fortress of Solitude, okay?
Or was it just destiny? There's some things that we do because we're pre-exposed to it, and he could have just been pre-exposed to it. So it was going to happen just by his touch. So you're jumping.
I'm jumping, but I don't like the mother.
I know you don't.
And and I even went deeper, even as they changed the narrative on Superman. And you even brought it up. He didn't go to court. Like, let's talk real life about if the superheroes really exist. Right. He didn't go to court.
They would all be sued because of the massive destruction that occurs in all the cities.
Right. And
we can't even get our potholes fixed.
Okay, and this is where we're opening up the spectrum of all superheroes. Right. What makes them any different than a villain, per se? A villain has a prime directive. Like, they want to either take over the world or
destroy
something. But it's a prime directive. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a straight and narrow path.
Right.
They have a reason for existing.
Exactly. And you have to have a yin and a yang.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
We always believe that you can't have good without bad. Mm-hmm. You have to. Like, it just doesn't work one without the other. Mm-hmm. But like with Superman, let's go with Batman. Is Batman more of a victim, or is he really a hero? Or is, like, I look at him as the anti-hero.
Well, I think all our heroes out there, they're heroes. Because we always want the good to always supersede the bad. So in that aspect, they're all heroes. But I think that it's important to weigh what makes that individual tick. And do they tick because they've allowed themselves to become a victim of their own circumstance? Or do they tick and they're successful in what they do because an issue happened, their situation occurred, and then they found a way to supersede it so it doesn't happen to another. And then that makes you not a victim. So in my opinion, I don't believe Batman is a victim of his circumstance. He was young, he lost his parents. From that, he grew up and he was like, if only I did more, maybe my parents would have been alive. If maybe we were just faster, maybe my parents would be alive. So he spends the rest of his time in Gotham trying to make sure that those people that harm others are caught, put away. You know, I guess he's never killed anybody, but they're put away.
Well, but
so
the narrative had changed again on Gotham, to show Gotham where Batman, before he became Batman, he killed Ra's al Ghul.
He did end up killing somebody.
He killed somebody, right, even though he doesn't believe in killing. Mm-hmm. So their narrative changed again. So it's like, oh damn, when you killed somebody, even though you don't believe. And you're right, the difference between a Batman and a Punisher.
Why did he kill him?
Oh, it's Ra's al Ghul. I was like, he needed to be killed. Like, you know how there's certain people you're like, you need to kill? You know how we talk about pedophiles and we're like, they just need to die. You know what I'm saying? There's no fixing them. They just need to die.
Go.
They got to go, right?
Yeah.
He had to go.
Okay.
He had to kill him. Like, if he didn't, he would have always been around, and he would have always.
But it happened once, so that's.
Yeah, but
it could happen again, especially the way they got it set up and shit like that.
Oh,
like. Especially at a young age and shit.
And yeah, he's not even like 20 yet.
Okay, so he killed someone. I still don't think that makes him a victim of what occurred to him. But I do see a victim, Spider-Man, for example.
Okay.
He loses his
But you also said he had a disease because he got...
He does have a disease. He got bit by a spider in a lab. Like, someone needs to take him to the doctor.
He got a superhuman disease that I wouldn't mind having myself.
Forget that. You want to spin webs all over the place. Come on, that's a whack.
No, that's actually science. The web was made. That was the smartness of Peter Parker. But here's the question: you said the victim, but who's in the mask? Spider-Man or Peter Parker?
Peter Parker is in the mask to make him Spider-Man.
No, you don't understand.
Spider-Man is just Peter Parker's alter ego.
Right, but he becomes this person masked up because I believe he fights the most villains out of everybody, and he can't.
That's because he doesn't mind his business. He's nosy.
But then how is he a victim?
He's a victim because, okay, he didn't stop that man from robbing the manager of the wrestling event, right? So the man runs past him. He thinks he's gotten even with that man because that man cheated him. But in turn, his uncle ends up dying by the hands of that same man. So he continues living on. Oh, with great power becomes great responsibility. Oh, if I only would have gotten involved, my uncle would still be alive. So because he believes he needs to be involved in everything so that someone else can live, he now becomes a victim of his own circumstance. It becomes so bad that he is the reason why he's always fighting. He's the reason why he's always in his predicaments.
And
victim of his circumstance. Superhero, yes, but a victim nonetheless.
Even before that, though, he was fighting crime and shit like that. Like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was out there fighting people, stuff, and maybe he didn't stop that one dude, but like he was out there trying to fight crime.
Being nosy.
Yeah, that's what he was being.
Nosy.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a high school kid things we just don't talk
And
about.
they've changed the story about him a couple of times as far as age is concerned. Like, they show him as a grown man. They also showed him as in high school. They showed him in college and stuff like that. So it's a perception at the end of the day. You can still go with what
I think bothers me about Spider-Man the most is that he has his abilities whether he is in uniform or not. Okay? And whether he's in costume or not. But as Peter Parker, he walks around so weak, as smart as he is. He's a very intelligent person.
Well, let's go back to Superman. Clark Kent is the perception of a human being.
He's the costume.
Right. He's the costume. Yeah, we
Clark
all agree
Kent
with that.
is the costume. Superman is the real person.
Yeah, but Clark Kent is the perception of what us humans look like. Right. Bumbling, tripping over you. Yeah. Like, that's imperfect being. So what's the difference? If Superman sees himself, I gotta be this bumbling fool to fit in, what's the difference?
And this is where I'm going to take you back, where we can't per se read into the character as they've displayed them to us, but now we have to look into the background of the people that created him. So the original creators of Superman, they were nerds. They were weak, scrawny, skinny.
Describing themselves.
Yeah, and so they saw themselves in Clark Kent. But if they could be the better person and be the stronger man, they would want to be Superman, who had the answer and power to control everything and anything.
Shit up.
Exactly. So I think that's the yin and yang that Superman himself has to deal with, but only because it's a direct depiction that comes from its creator. And not per se a shot written into the character to downplay human beings.
I would agree, but I would also disagree because the narrative changed. When the narrative changed.
In all fairness, all narratives are going to change.
Of course, it's going to change with your age.
And as our society changes and superheroes,
your mom gets mad about Superman because she remembers Superman with the S. Like, the S wasn't an S because the dude that she used to watch the show was a raging alcoholic.
Really?
No, I'm saying the dude that played Superman, right?
Boy.
And
you just tried to be hater-rated.
Yeah, that was punching.
Yeah.
That was punching.
Foul, too. It was useless.
The point
acting
is...
like Trump right now.
The point is... Yeah, the age changed. Like, ages change. So, like with your mom that believed that Superman was just all good and there was nothing wrong. There was a flawless...
The black and white versions on
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I grew up with the Christopher Reeves.
Right.
As a kid.
Saving Lois Lane, the helpless female.
He was still indestructible. Then, with the newer generation, now we're seeing the imperfections and the flaws and a superhero. The same thing with Batman. The thing with Batman, with the narrative change that made Batman really dope is, you're saying, his parents were killed and this, that, and the third. But what makes him, what we were speaking about off air was what, he has a brilliance about him. He's a smart man.
He's educated.
He knew how to destroy the whole Justice League without any superpowers. He knew how to use their powers against them. And that's what brought up, like, when I brought up Lex Luthor, I was like, he's a brilliant man. We don't like him. No,
you like him.
No, I don't. I'm saying we're not supposed to like him because he's a bad guy.
Yeah, we're not supposed to, right.
But that doesn't take away the fact that he's smart.
You have everything humans desire. Wealth, power. Yet you crave more, and you'll do anything to get it. Why? What is your ultimate purpose?
What you're really asking is, what is yours? The truth is, for all my struggles to make my mark in life, for all I've accomplished, in just a few short generations, my name will be forgotten. Even the greatest of us can't compete with time.
But let's jump back to Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Why she was underrated. To me, she was
Wonder Woman was underrated because the story was written by a man.
Yeah, and I agree.
Then I think there's no
argument there.
And I think what
because they even changed their. Do you know they changed their during the baby booming years or that generation? They had her dressed up in a suit, like a
and I thank you for that, a business suit. So it was like
but she had no powers.
Skirt with a jacket, no powers. But I think that's what upsets me is that why is it that in order for a woman to be powerful, either one, you got to be halfway naked, or two, you have to be dressed in some business suit and your hair pinned up and big old glasses on your eyes, and you can't have any emotion and you got to be cold. To me, that is not what makes a woman strong in any aspect. So I think they constantly get it wrong because they're not looking at exactly what each one of those women in each one of those generations needed, and their perceptions were incorrect. So I believe Wonder Woman gets a bad break.
Now,
because she was an Amazonian, regardless of being,
well, I mean, it all came from the Greek culture. All those women left that culture to create their own and whatever. But you're right. The man controls. The man created the narrative for a woman, which would be in real life as well, like with music.
Right.
Okay, so you look at music and you look at the culture of music, not even just with rap, with anything, with R&B or rock or, you can name female artists in music in one hand. Let's take it back.
Successful.
No, successful.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna get
what's gonna be.
We're gonna get into that. It's Janis Joplin is the only woman that you can identify with that era of like Jimi Hendrix and all that, and the Beatles and all these people that were huge, right? And then you have one woman versus 10 men, right?
Right.
Like with Wonder Woman was one woman amongst a whole bunch of men.
There's not very many female superheroes that are mainstream.
However, there are a lot of strong women even in music.
Yep.
And like if you go through the hip hop, I believe that since there's not a huge market, and the reason why there's not a huge market is because it's whatever the labels control the narrative. The labels control.
Well, they choose where they're going to put their money.
Right.
And sometimes they put their money on things that may not be the best that we need to hear, but what they think can sell.
Right.
It's all about selling.
Yeah,
right.
money.
All day.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about the 90s or late 80s was like there was a lot of women. I can name a lot of women that were in the rap world, like Salt-N-Pepa,
MC Lyte,
Queen
Latifah,
JJ Fad, Roxanne Shante, the real Roxanne. You could there was actually a list. Compared to right now, you can name 4. That's big.
Yeah, that is kind of, and I am a, the 90s empowerment woman, I'm not gonna lie. But when I do look at rap culture today and what females are out there, there's not very many that are mainstream. However, there are some good ones out there, like No Name.
Yeah.
Powerful lyricist. She's a poet in her own right. She's out of Chicago, and she's really beautiful, but yet she doesn't even get half of the respect somebody like
Cardi
me, mama, moo.
Or, but then there's people like Cash Doll from Detroit that is
Detroit has some real strong players coming out.
Well, no, I'm saying Cash Doll is like the Little Kim of Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm. And Little Kim,
she uses her sexuality as the empowerment, like Lil Kim and other artists that knew how to use their body on a different level than a man telling you how to use it. So when we look at it as far as when we look at it that way, me as I'm speaking as a man, I'm not speaking on behalf of women, but you like, oh man, you know, there was this girl named Nitty Scott. Probably can blow out any dude now.
Cause I've been on my let it glow. Metaphysical flow, entering the indigo. And now it seems that life is but a dream. And the cloth of our reality is leaking at the seams. But it's lucid, I take my noose in. I feel it loosen, now we cruising. And on a truth that I be inducing. Naked activated from the root up to the crown. It's amazing in the void until you come back down. But if I can't keep calm, I just keep on. So songs to get my reap on and just breathe on. And be the queen of the renaissance, mother of the new era. Such my tiara, get free and recognize that.
She could blow out any dude. Jean Grey. Fantastic. They didn't get money behind her, so you get a Cardi B. Cardi B was more marketable. Nicki Minaj at one time wasn't marketable because she was really hood.
Right.
She changed her persona like most people do. Hey, you want to make real money?
Make sure that you
Go
make songs with no
Hollywood.
content.
Right. They went Hollywood.
You want to do something? Change your hair. You want to do something? Get a breast implant. Get your butt big. That's what guys like. Guess what you do?
You get your butt big. Put on some implants. Change your
Because
hair.
that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want that stardom.
Yeah, I think that's all sad.
No.
I understand its
Yeah.
reality, unfortunately.
Right.
But I also believe that as long as we continue to go in that lane, that we missed out on some really good,
I agree.
strong players
I
that
absolutely
can
agree.
make positive
Yep.
change.
Yeah.
And why is it that if I want to hear a very successful female rapper, I have to catch me an underground show?
Rhapsody, right?
Yeah.
From North Carolina.
Yes, I like her.
She has records with oh my God, TDE. A lot of artists from TDE, Kendrick Lamar and all
Okay.
that. And they're on a different level as it is.
Yes.
And she's making records with them, and they're actually respecting her because of her content.
Right.
Well,
Those
that's the only way you're ever
no,
going to
and
get
that's
respect.
well. You
Because
also
even
said
some of
you
the
also
rappers that
said though.
we called out, all of them had content
Yeah,
when they
but
when
you
they
also
produced.
said, oh, they're black activists. That ain't gonna work. You know, but you saw what you
the
said
minute that someone, especially for females, the minute you say that you're woman empowerment, that you're black activist, that you're a positive body image,
You become-
you become a threat.
Yeah, you're a threat.
But what are you a threat about? Isn't that the same thing? Right now, our society is focused on empowering women and making sure that they're respected in a whole different light. But I don't believe it's always aimed towards the African American woman or the woman of color.
No, it isn't. It never has been.
Because then it's scary. And I don't think it should be a scary thing. And they deserve a platform. And I think money needs to be thrown behind that platform.
But you put $1.5 million behind Cardi B. You put $1.5 million behind
Why
Cardi B.
every time y'all say the name, like, I get this feeling in my stomach that makes me want to, like, regurgitate?
Well, because it's because it's true.
Cardi B.
But you got like
She's a pretty woman, though. I just want to say that.
yeah, and that was
Nice
after
looking.
changing
She's
herself.
nice looking. I don't think she should have fixed her teeth though. I think it gave her a little bit of character.
Yeah,
That's what I think so,
agree,
too.
You know.
But
She
okay,
didn't have to do all that.
she came and did one
could've saved some
season
money.
of Love and
Yeah.
Hip Hop. She did one season of Love and Hip Hop. Now she's the most champion female out. She's done numbers that the only other female artist to do it was Lauryn Hill.
Right.
Okay, so
Oh, another great we should definitely mention.
but then you got Jocelyn Hernandez.
Oh, good lord, man.
She
Damn.
came out before.
Bitch.
I got to do this.
She's
came
trying
out.
to stay relevant. Poor thing.
But look at the video.
Bitch called Nasha. You, her, I know what's going on. She's feeling one through, but now yours bitch. I get my hit 30. Ask about me. No class, want a big foot. Drag a Bronx bitch. Yeah, I said it. What y'all gonna do? Fabricated, illustrated cartoon. That bitch bloody my ass. Big fat bloody pussy.
You don't think that's enough?
Wait.
Go sign this hoe. Blood suck my pussy hoe. You black a mile, poppin' pills.
What the fuck?
Talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Oh my
Oh my
god.
goodness.
You're fucking mad, you're fucking mad, you're fucking mad.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cut that bitch off.
Please.
So
That's a hot mess. See, that's what you
That's-
produce
that-
when you have no
No.
content.
that's
It's
why,
happening with
yeah,
that.
because that's why you have to champion. I believe in this day.
Well,
and
at least
area-
I can understand the other girl.
No, but that's why I don't think
Articulation is your
women
friend.
should automatically distance. Like it's already not an open market. That's my point. Like it's not an open market for females. It's not like, and you asked me last night. You were like, "Well, what could it do to be changed?" You have to buy. Like you have to own your own stock. Like you have to own your own record company. Unfortunately,
It's just too expensive, though.
It
it's
is,
easy
but-
for you to say, but
And then will
going
you be
on tour,
successful?
exactly.
You know?
that's the chance you take. Like I can't think
No,
of any other way.
the only way is that people in those seats making those decisions need to change their way of thinking. It's the way of thought that needs
Well,
to
then
change.
until you change the chair, you can't change nothing. And these dudes ain't leaving. Look at they're like the government.
Right.
The government ain't. Those old motherfuckers that's been there since 1979, and you're like, you're still?
Yeah.
How do you not, how is there not like a gap?
Yeah.
It's like
There should be the
damn.
same thing in business in some respect.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you still sitting in that CEO chair, not the CEO chair, but in the chair, because you're in the chairman, you're a chairman or something, and you've been there for 40 years and you're using 40-year-old tactics to make money.
Well, I think this proves it, though. So you said that this girl came out before.
The Jocelyn Hernandez
yeah.
was already on the show for a minute.
And then for a few years.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
she already made a name for herself on that show, not necessarily with anything
It didn't
else.
transcend in any other
nothing
direction.
else.
Right.
But I don't think she was really like trying to put her down. But you know,
Well,
if
no, she
someone's
came out
talking-
on the
I think
Breakfast
she was
Club.
riding a coattail, like you said, right?
Yeah.
But no, she came on the Breakfast Club earlier this summer. And
I call this Black Perry rap.
all right. With that being said, we are out of here. Mark will be back on the next one. And
Thanks for having me, though. I did have
Yes.
fun. Thank
It
you.
was a pleasure.
you actually acted right. I'm shocked.
You better shut the hell up before
For
I
those
move in the
that
last
seen
minutes.
that seen all the other episodes, there's always some woman in the background talking, and
Just I'm the voice of truth. If you need truth, look me up.
we'll see y'all later.
Bye.